The new contract, ratified late last month and approved by the Erie County Legislature, is a win for both local taxpayers and our hardworking union employees. This new contract continues to uphold my pledge to only sign new union contracts that deal with retiree health care costs in a real and meaningful way. It is my firm belief that county employees are underpaid but over-benefited. The new contract aligns the ASME employee benefit package with those commonly found in the private sector and provides our employees with a much-deserved raise. This new 10-year contract eliminates retiree health care insurance for new employees completely and ensures various levels of employee contribution to both active retiree health care insurance for current employees. Most significantly, this new contract is a major victory for our children, grandchildren, and future generations. The taxpayer savings generated by this new contract are small in the short run, but they grow significantly in future years as retiree health care costs come due. The new ASME contract comes on the heels of a similar contract with our county nurses, and we are currently involved in negotiations with the Teamsters and the CSEA, and I am optimistic that we will be successful in new contracts with both unions that are fair to workers and fair to taxpayers. My administration continued to stand up for taxpayers by recently reaching an historic global settlement with ECMC that deals with all the past issues going back to 2003. This settlement is the best possible news for local health care and local taxpayers. Under the terms of the settlement, the county's annual operating funding to ECMC will be $16.2 million. A 2005 lawsuit had left the county on the hook for unlimited operational losses at the hospital and the nursing home starting this year. Also part of the settlement, the leadership at ECMC agreed to reduce the county's current capital obligation, ordered by the court, from $23 million to $11.5 million. And this funding will be earmarked toward construction of a new state-of-the-art nursing home dedicated to caring for indigent seniors in Erie County. The new nursing home will replace the current Erie County home in Alden. Building the new home on the Grider Street campus, near the main hospital, will help keep operating costs down, bring many residents closer to their family units, and add development to Buffalo's economically disadvantaged east side. And significant for the taxpayers, the settlement also returns $101 million in bond debt that was incurred in 2003 back to the hospital. The agreement the Reverend understands those dollars. This agreement also paves the way for ECMC to move forward in its partnership with Great Lakes Health and the hospital's plan to build a center of excellence in organ transplant and to expand orthopedic services. The settlement agreement is a win for our community in countless ways. For taxpayers, it assures a fixed subsidy and a defined capital contribution for ECMC, taking a financial unknown off the table and allowing the county to accurately budget and plan for years to come. For ECMC, it provides an appropriate subsidy in recognition of ECMC's growing obligation to care for our community's most vulnerable citizens. And finally, for our senior citizens in Western New York in general, it helps ensure an outstanding level of medical care in our community. And I want to thank ECMC CEO Jody LeMayo and the board of directors led by Sharon Hansen for working in partnership with the county to reach this important agreement that is in the best interest of taxpayers and local health care. Both Jody and Sharon are with us this morning, and I want to thank you both for your contributions to our community. Had to embarrass you a little bit, Joe. My administration is also standing up for taxpayers by continuing to review all non-mandated health and social service programs currently provided by the county. It is my strong belief that Erie County should not be competing with local not-for-profit community organizations that have the expertise, ability, and willingness to provide these services to county residents. Last year, despite the wild distortions and personal attacks, my administration successfully transferred the administration of the non-mandated Women and Infant Children's Program, commonly known as WIC, to Catholic Charities. This transition went extremely well and did not disrupt any service. My 2010 proposed budget called for the transfer of non-mandated clinical services to Sheehan Health Network and 5 other local providers spread out over 13 locations in the city of Buffalo, delivering better service within the city. But as predicted, the status quo employed scare tactics to frighten clinic clients, and the legislature majority haphazardly restored some, but not all funding, simply to protect union jobs. As a result, some of our clinical services are currently being run at limited capacity. And also, as a result, many of our clients are already receiving care and treatment from the health care providers that we had previously identified, including Sheehan. The county funding for these programs will run out this summer, and our remaining clients will be referred to new providers who have the willingness and capacity to meet their needs. And the transfer is being coordinated with the New York State Department of Health to make sure no one loses service. No one would ever have lost service. In addition to reviewing non-mandated services, my administration is also standing up for taxpayers by refusing to allow Albany to pass its burdens onto the taxpayers of our community. New York State has consistently cut Erie County's child care block grant, which supports daycare subsidies for the working poor. Since 2004, New York State has cut Erie County's grant by $13 million, despite being home to the 3rd poorest city in the United States. These cuts forced our Department of Social Services to reduce the eligibility guidelines for this program. And it was not a decision I made lightly, and I do fully understand the burden it caused many local families. But I am unwilling to use county tax dollars, in this case $10 million for 2010 alone, to keep state-funded programs whole after Albany makes cuts to close its own budget gap. It is not the job of local taxpayers to honor Albany's promises and obligations that it can no longer keep. And while I sympathize with families impacted by this decision, all of us are going to have to learn to do more with less if our state has any chance of economic recovery. And if that makes me the bad guy in certain circles, I'm okay with that. It's what I was elected to do.